Hello and welcome back to the Monitoring Student Activity and Performance Blackboard Black Belt series. In the last video, we learned how to monitor our students' performance using the Retention Center, Performance Dashboard, and via course reports. In this video, we'll be exploring Blackboard's Grade Center. Let's get started by first explaining the difference between the Grade Center and My Grades areas within Blackboard. The Grade Center is an area under the Control Panel section of Blackboard. As such, this area is not accessible to students in the course. Students cannot view the Grade Center. Students view their grades in the course through the My Grades feature in Blackboard. If an instructor attempts to view the My Grades area of their course, they will get this lovely "Users with your role do not have personal grades" message. This is the case whether edit mode is turned on or off. If an instructor would like to see the student view of the My Grades area, they must first click on the Enter Student Preview icon in the top right of the course page. Now that we know the difference between the Grade Center and My Grades, let's dive into the Grade Center. As previously mentioned, the Grade Center is an area under the Control Panel section of the course menu. Clicking the words Grade Center will expand the Grade Center menu. By default, the Grade Center menu includes the following 4 items: Needs Grading, Full Grade Center, Assignments, and Tests. However, you can customize as we'll see later in the video. The Needs Grading link will take you to a page that lists all the assignments in the course that are currently marked as Needs Grading. This table displays the category of the assignment name, which user submitted the assignment, the date in which the assignment was submitted, and finally the due date that you have set for the assignment. Here we can see that we have a physics group assignment that needs grading. Clicking on the hyperlink under the user attempt column will take you directly to the inline grading area for that student or that group. This allows the instructor to quickly grade that student or that group's attempt. Now let's explore the area where you'll be doing most of your work, the Full Grade Center. The Full Grade Center is organized in a familiar spreadsheet-like format with a row for each student enrolled in the course and a column for each assignment. You will notice that there are also columns for other non-assignment information like student ID, last access, etc. If a cell has a yellow exclamation mark in it like this, it indicates that the particular student has an assignment that is marked as Needs Grading. You will see that this physics group assignment has the Needs Grading icon for each individual that is within that group. This simply indicates that this group's assignment needs grading. You may have noticed that there are 7 menu tabs across the top of the page. We will be exploring most of these menus throughout the remainder of this video series, but for now, let's begin at the first menu and create a new column. Blackboard by default automatically creates a Grade Center column for all assignments created within Blackboard. However, sometimes an instructor would like to manually add a Grade Center column for maybe an in-class assignment, such as in-class participation. This is where the manually created columns come in. For this demonstration, let's create a new Grade Center column named Monday Class Participation. You can add a description if you'd like. I'm just going to leave mine blank. I'm actually going to leave all the options on this page set to their default values. The only options that are required are the name and the points possible. For points possible, I'm going to put 10 and then click the Submit button. If we scroll all the way over to the right, we'll see our new column created right here at the end. Instructors can also create calculated columns. One of these are already set up for you by default, the Total column. You have a few options to choose from in the Created Columns menu. The Average column, the Minimum Maximum column, the Total column, and the Weighted column. The Average column calculates and displays the numeric average for a selected number of columns. The Minimum and Maximum column calculates either the minimum or the maximum grade for a selected number of columns. The Total column calculates the total points for a number of columns related to the total number of allowed points. Total columns are useful when generating a final score. And finally, a Weighted column calculates and displays a grade based on a select number of columns based on each column's respected worth to the total grade. The available options are similar for the first 3 items, so we can just demonstrate one of those, and the other 2 is going to be pretty much the same. However, the last one, Weighted column, it's a bit different, so let's demonstrate that one first. Let's say that you want to use a weighted grading system in your course. In the course, you want all of your assignments to be worth 60% of the final grade, the discussion boards to be worth 20% of the final grade, and the tests to also be worth 20% of the final grade. To do this, you use the weighted column feature in Blackboard. Begin by hovering over the Create Calculated Column menu in the Full Grade Center, and then click Weighted Column. Give the column a name. I'm going to name this one Weighted Column. You can change the primary display option to display either a percentage, score, letter, text, or complete incomplete. I'm going to stay with percentage. The Select Columns area is where you get to choose which individual columns to select or which categories to select. The easiest way to set up a weighted graded column is to ensure that all of your items in the Grade Center are assigned to categories, and then you can just use the Categories to Select option here. Just keep in mind that if you have items in the Grade Center that are not associated with a category, they will not be included in this weighted grade column, so please be careful with this feature or your students' grades might not calculate correctly. Assuming that all of your Grade Center items are correctly assigned to categories, let's select Assignment from the Categories to Select field, and then click the arrow to the right of the field to move that category over to the Selected Columns box. Once your category is in this field, you will see that we have to define our options. Let's type 60 in the % category field. We can choose to weigh all of the columns in this category equally, or we can choose to weigh the columns in this category proportionally based on each column's points compared to the other columns in the same category. For this demonstration, I'm going to stick with equally. I don't want to drop any of the grades. I also don't want to use only the lowest or the highest value, so I'm going to leave these options alone. Next, let's add our test category. Set the options for it. Finally, let's add the discussion category and set those options too. Now that we have all the categories added, we can look at the remainder of the options. Leaving the Calculate as Running Total option set to Yes ensures that this new weighted column only calculates grades for assignments that have attempts. This allows the instructor to have future assignments in the Grade Center without affecting the student's letter grade, even if the student hasn't submitted anything for that assignment yet. If you choose No here, this column will use the value of 0 for any item in the Grade Center that the student doesn't have an attempt. For example, any assignments that you have preloaded into Blackboard for later in the semester. The No option isn't used much, so if you find that your calculated grade columns aren't quite as expected, this is a good place to look. I'm going to leave all the default settings under Options as is and click the Submit button. Scrolling all the way over to the right, we can see that our new weighted grade column is added to the end of the Full Grade Center as expected. Now let's demonstrate creating a total column. As mentioned previously, the options in these 3 pages are all pretty similar, so we're just going to demonstrate one of the 3. Let's say I want to create a letter grade calculated column, so I can easily see what letter grade each student has in the course. Begin by hovering over the Create Calculated Column menu in the Full Grade Center, and then click Total Column. I'm going to enter letter grade in the column name field, and then change the primary display from score to letter. Under the Select Columns area, we can choose which columns to include in this new total column. I want to see the student's total letter grade in the course, so leaving the default value of the All Grade Columns option, that's going to work out perfectly here. We also have the Calculate as Running Total option on this page. Make sure that you have that set correctly. I'm going to leave the default value for all other options on this page and click Submit. Scrolling to the right, we see our new letter grade column. Now that we have a few calculated columns set up in the Grade Center, we can decide which one the students see as their default grade when they enter their My Grades page. This Grade Center column is called the External Grade. By default, it's assigned to the Total Calculated column, which is preloaded on your Blackboard course. You can easily tell which Grade Center column is set to be the external grade, as it will have this little green check mark next to it. Changing the external grade in the Grade Center is super simple. First, just find the column that you would like to assign as the external grade. Click on the menu options icon to the right of the column name, and then click Set as External Grade. Now, if we enter Student Preview mode and go to My Grades, we'll notice that the student sees the letter grade column as their default grade for the course. Keep in mind that you can only have one Grade Center column at a time set as the external grade. That concludes this video in the Monitoring Student Activity and Performance Blackboard Black Belt series. In this video, we've learned how to manually create columns in the Grade Center, how to add total and weighted columns in the Grade Center, and we've also learned how to change the external grade. In the next video, we'll explore how to manage the Grade Center. Thanks for watching.